Though the Scandinavian community is not as large as it was, new people continue to arrive here, drawn for various reasons. One such person is 20-year-old Pernilla Ring-Svan, who came here 2 years ago from Sweden after meeting her Grimsby boyfriend online. However, she still gets homesick.
I miss the people and my friends and my family, but I think the weather, I don't really mind it. I like the rain. It's just maybe that there haven't been a lot of snow yet, and I do miss the snow, even though I don't like to admit it.
Pernilla trained in security operations back home in Stockholm, but can't get a job in England in the same industry due to differences in the law. She is currently working in a fast food outlet to save the money to pay for studies to retrain, as she'd love to open her own Swedish restaurant. Like so many visitors to our region, she loves being here.
I think people here are really, I don't know the word, they're really considerate about you. At least all the people that I've met so far. And they're all really happy and, I don't know, they're just really nice.
From our Viking ancestors, we've gained a rich and diverse language, with many local words and phrases still being used, many of them agricultural words.
Well, one of them that I'm not sure how common it is in standard English, to flit, to move house, that we always used to say, when you flit, you must take your rhubarb with you. But you take your own rhubarb. But to flit meant to move house. And we still have a moonlit flit means to move house. And flet is a Danish word for house. And fliggen or flitten is the word for moving house. So I think we can see a Danish connection there. What else? One word that used to be common parlance amongst the agricultural workers of Lincolnshire. Labourers moved from farm to farm every year. They would move on Lady Day. And when they'd agreed with a farmer that they would go work for him for a year, he gave them a fastening penny. It became known as a pheasant penny, which meant that penny sort of sealed the bargain, so they would continue with that bargain. They would definitely go and work for the farmer for a year. Now, what we actually find is that if we look at the Danish, fester means to bind. And that's exactly what that labourer, the farmer was doing to the labourer. He was binding the man to him. A fastening penny, a binding penny. So that was quite a common word, not used very much now because, of course, we don't have annual sale of labour in the marketplace. I'm sure there would be a law against it nowadays. Another word that probably is looked upon as slang nowadays, to gorm at something. Stop gorming at me. Stop looking at me, or have a look at something. And that word actually, gorm, is very similar in the Danish language, meaning to look. And I think, it seems to me that it's quite common to use Danish words inadvertently, unknowingly, that's the word, that they have Danish connections, but we use them as standard English words sometimes just the Lincolnshire dialect words, but Scandinavian influence, Danish influence without a doubt.
From those initial trade links with the settlers from the north, the future is bright for the Humber estuary. 70% of the UK's chilled and frozen seafood comes through Grimsby, and the marine energy market has focused on the Humber estuary, turning the area into a hub for renewables, which comes full circle, as in the beginning it was the waterways which brought the settlers here.
The natural the way the estuary was built up naturally, because it's basically what brings the ships in here is the same thing which brought the Viking boats in all those years ago. And when you go back in and look at the far inland port, we're sort of sitting in Goole at the moment, which is still the UK's most inland port. We used to be able to go up to Selby, which obviously is another sort of Viking name, going up to York, Jorvik, etc. So that was sort of like the very early days, which drew everybody to the Humber and to the estuary for that very reason.
As the wind energy business offers jobs for the future, the Seamen's Mission in Hull continues to welcome the many new Scandinavian families being enticed to the UK.
In a few years' time, this church will have been here for 150 years, and I think it depends on what the wind turbine industry is going and about the shipping on the Humber for Danish vessels. But I think almost every year a lot of Danish families are moving over here. For 1 week ago we had 4 new families with children coming in here for fastelavn. And of course we made contact with them, and I think they will come in here. So I think there's a long future for this church, because it's very important for us to make connections with people outside. So if some Danish are seeing this program, please contact us, and you're very, very welcome here.
Our country offers a landscape very similar to that of the Nordic countries, especially Denmark. It's a landscape which appeals to many Danes.
The contour, the walls are very similar to where I come from in Denmark. And I think the wide horizon is what kept me here. My husband died in 2000, and I did wonder whether I should go back. So I went to Denmark to try, and I lived there for a month. It was too small. I like the wide horizons here. I like the kindness of the Yorkshire people. They're extraordinarily kind and welcoming. My children are here, so my grandchildren are here, so it's the future. And I don't think I could go back now. I do go back for a holiday, but my life is here. Yes, my life is here.
I miss my family, obviously, my friends and my animals. Yeah, I do miss my cats. About here, it's different. It's really different. Nothing's like the same. The language, I like English, so that's a big plus. Yeah, the weather. Even though it is a lot of rain, but the days that is sunny, it's really nice. Don't know what else. I like the food. I do like the food. Even though it's really different, it's really nice.
Dr. Rob Robinson, maritime historian, says the Danes, Norwegians, Swedes and the Icelanders have all contributed to the development of the Humber through trade, settlement and language.
We often think about the sort of late 800s and the early 900s as being the Viking century in this region. And this is the period, in a sense, when sort of early literary sources suggest that Grimsby was founded. And those sort of links with those early movements of Danes and Norwegians is obviously very crucial to the town and to the whole area. And our sort of very essence or being was shaped to some degree by those Scandinavians who came to settle in Britain. And that influence has remained very strong ever since. In those days, of course, it was Scandinavian settlers. Offshore, we've got Danish people working on the wind farms and the like. A heck of an enduring link.